This week on Ikulu Weekly, we bring you President William Ruto's third State of the Nation address, among other activities of the week. The head of state began the week by opening the 14th International Association of Refugees and Migration Judges World Conference in Nairobi, where he urged judges to uphold fairness, courage and independence in ensuring that every refugee and migrant is heard and treated with dignity. Reaffirming Kenya's long-standing humanitarian commitment, the president noted that nearly 800,000 refugees and asylum seekers now call Kenya home, placing the country among the world's largest host nations. President Ruto also held talks with China Communications Construction Company President Zhang Bingman. CRBC, a subsidiary of the corporation, is set to commence the dualling of the 170-kilometer Rironi-Naivasha-Mau Summit Road on November 28, 2025. This project marks a major milestone in modernizing the northern corridor, easing decades of gridlock, boosting trade and enhancing safety. The president further highlighted key infrastructure projects in the pipeline, including the extension of the railway to Kisumu and Malaba, as well as the construction of the Galana Dam in Tana River County. Midweek, President Ruto presided over the award of a charter to Gretsa University, celebrating the growing impact of private universities in expanding access to higher learning. He also met Marubeni Corporation Chairman Masumi Kakinoki. The company, present in Kenya since 1961, announced expansion into e-mobility, pharmaceuticals, cybersecurity and e-commerce, demonstrating confidence in Kenya's stable and diverse investment climate. Reinforcing Kenya's commitment to regional peace, the president hosted the South Sudan Council of Churches at State House, Nairobi. The delegation briefed him on the peace efforts in southern Sudan, with discussions centered on dialogue, the constitution-making process, and the preparations for the 2026 elections. Later, the head of state met World Bank Africa Group 1 Executive Director Zarau Kibwe, expressing gratitude for the bank's continued support to Kenya's development agenda, including the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund. The World Bank also backed Kenya's plan to construct 50 mega dams to expand irrigation by 2.5 million acres, critical for boosting agricultural productivity and ensuring long-term food security. In the health sector, President Ruto presided over the handover of ambulances and essential medical supplies from the World Health Organization to 7 national referral hospitals and the National Emergency Response Center.
Kenya's commitment to universal health coverage rests on a simple but powerful truth: every life matters.
The head of state also awarded a charter to Amref International University in Kiambu County, an institution serving 3,800 learners from 32 countries, 70% of them women. He commended the university for advancing women leadership in health and for its commitment to innovation in training healthcare professionals. Towards the end of the week, President Ruto hosted the Taxpayers' Dinner at State House, Nairobi, marking 30 years of the Kenya Revenue Authority and 20 years of Taxpayers' Day. The president also held talks with Azerbaijan's Defense Industry Minister Vuga Mustafayev, exploring avenues to deepen long-standing ties and expand cooperation in areas of mutual benefit. The week culminated with President Ruto delivering the State of the Nation address in Parliament, accompanied by the submission of 3 constitutional reports on national values, international obligations, and the state of national security. In his address, the president affirmed that Kenya's transformation over the past 3 years is evident, from new homes and expanded job opportunities to stabilized inflation and a strengthened shilling.
At a time like this, in 2022, Kenya was in distress. Inflation had soared almost to double digits. Foreign reserves had hit historic lows. Debt service consumed more than half of our revenues. Confidence, both local and foreign, had waned. international analysts warned that it was no longer a question of if, but when Kenya would default. Within that context, we acted. We restored fiscal discipline. We eliminated wasteful subsidies. We rationalized public expenditure.
Looking ahead, he outlined the next phase of Kenya's transformation agenda: massive investments in engineering and technology education, construction of 50 megadams, generation of 10,000 megawatts of energy, development of 28,000 kilometers of roads, and expanded airport and port capacity. To ensure sustainable long-term financing, the President announced the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund and a Sovereign Wealth Fund.
There is need to deploy our national assets available to us in creating public-private partnerships that will crowd in the enormous pool of private sector resources available regionally and globally. This is why we will establish the National Infrastructure Fund, whose architecture will be underpinned by the reforms in the Government-Owned Enterprises Bill.
The head of state also assented to the county government's Additional Allocations Bill 2025, the Capital Markets Amendment Bill 2025, the Provisional Collection of Taxes and Duties Repeal Bill 2025, and the Government-Owned Enterprise Bill 2025. Thereafter, the head of state presided over the third graduation ceremony of the National Defence University Kenya Endlanet Nakuru County, where he commended the institution for its growing role in shaping Kenya's defence strategy, research, and military professionalism. That's it on Ikulu Weekly. Do join us next week for more.